Presenting The Wave by LA Top Team.
What's up, everybody? Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the most interesting show in real estate. This week, we have a remote interview. My tattoo artist called in from Texas. He and I have spent quite a lot of time and money together and got to know each other really well. Unfortunately, he moved to Texas to chase a dream. He moved to San Angelo, Texas. I don't want to get too much into geography, but it's smack dab in the middle of Texas. It's hours from any big city. And the reason he moved there was because he knew who his clientele was and he was willing to put it all on the line to get after it. He owns a tattoo shop out there. He went into a very saturated market, but he's a better artist. So what he did was he marketed his services to the military base, which is there, and the oil fields, which are there. He knows who his clientele are. He knows the type of people that get tattoos, and he knows the people who have money to get them. He took his entire family from LA to there, opened a tattoo shop. I think he had his first six-figure year, his first year. The next year, I think he doubled it, and now he's got 2 shops in San Angelo. He's 2 of the 4 shops that are open, and out of all of the tattooers, I think 70% of the tattooers in the city work for him. And he's learned from that how to really grab hold of bigger markets than just tattooing. Tattooing gave him an opportunity to see how to do it on a big scale. And in talking to him, it's super, super interesting to hear where his mind is going now that his tattoo side is set up and rolling. The main reason I wanted to get him on is because although it's becoming less and less frowned upon, tattooing is frowned upon, and tattoo artists are frowned upon. And I wanted to have him on the show to let you guys know you guys are all intelligent people. Intelligence isn't dictated by line of work. The guy would have been successful in whatever he decided to do. It's interesting because this business acumen that he's gotten over the last 2 years blend perfectly with his street smarts. The dude grew up in the streets, gangbanging, graffiti. And if you're in that world, you live by a certain code. And he takes that code of honesty, teamwork, trust into the business side. So he keeps his circle very, very tight. And he's an expert at figuring out how to maximize reach out of the smallest team possible. I wanted to bring him on so you guys can all hear that it's not just, industry based of how successful you can be. Keep an eye out for him. You'll see my tattoos as they get finished up. I can't get to him that often. He's in Texas, I'm in LA. But when our paths cross, we get some good sessions in. Make sure you follow his artwork, Frank_222. From there, you can find all of his shops. He's got both of his shops posted there. Check out this interview. I got to tell you, there is no film for this one. So we're probably, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're just going to put a still up. No worries. Apologies there. Like I said, it was a remote interview. He called in. As pretty as you guys might think I am, I don't want to film myself on the phone unless you want me to request it. But until then, I'm not going to. That being said, enjoy the interview. Listen to this motherfucker. He's smart. There's lots of good tidbits of information in there of how to, make it from something when you have nothing. He's a very successful guy. Super stoked he's on the show. Frank, take it away, brother. Cool, man. Well, thanks a lot for taking a few minutes to join us on the show and tell us a little bit about, yourself and your business and your experience moving from LA to Texas. How's it going out there today?
It's going good, man. It's nice weather. Unpredictable Texas weather.
So I saw on Instagram recently you acquired a new location out there for your shops in Texas. You want to tell us a little bit about your new location?
Yeah. So fortunately, I ended up finding out through somebody in town that had information on this business already, and let me know that they'd gone out of business. Oldest tattoo shop in San Angelo, 33 years running or so. Picked it up for really cheap compared to something from California. And before that, I actually already owned this first shop I built up, which was going great as well.
So this is your second location. You're gonna end up keeping the first one and running both locations, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to keep both locations, and as far as for business, on my angle, I want to be able to service the local economy from each end that it's flowing into the town, which is now where I have both my shops strategically placed.
Nice. So
Yeah.
when did you open your first shop out there in Texas?
I think that was 2014.
2014.
14 or 15, maybe 14, maybe I don't know. I'm sorry,
And then
14 or 15.
coincidentally, the longest running shop in town, unfortunately, goes out of business, and you're able to acquire the same location, keep it a tattoo shop, rebrand it a little bit, add a second location to your portfolio, and boom, somebody's got a tattoo stronghold on the dead center of Texas, it sounds like.
Yeah, for this town, it's definitely like I said, strategically place where it needs to be in order for it to sustain me and my business and my employees. I'm not going to bring anybody out there to not have them work. You got a town which has 10 tattoo shops already. Some as long as been 10 years. Some have gimmicks of throwing tattoo conventions and all this other stuff. I just pretty much disconnected myself from the local tattooed image of believing that I'm just a tattooer versus I'm a tattooer, human being, a businessman, a father, everything else that needs to go through. So play
How'd,
ego part.
how
Huh?
did you
Say it again?
get? How did you? I wanna touch just a little bit more on San Angelo and the location. And then I want to get into how you got started with tattooing. So just to wrap up there, tell me a little bit about it. I know it's basically smack dab in the center of Texas. Um, Tell me about it.
Yeah,
What's the
so it's
population? Who lives there? And what's really
it's
your
about a
clientele?
it's about 100,000 people. It's called the asshole of West Texas. Excuse my language. And yeah, it's pretty much a retirement town with a military base here that has a continuous flow of young people and people in this community in order to generate other communities around me or businesses is perfect. And everything else is about 3 hours away, which gives you little to no option to purchase or indulge into the local economy.
I see.
So it works pretty good. I mean, as long as you know exactly where you're getting them from, how to market to them, how to have a swing or a curve in comparison to every other business, you will pretty much do okay.
Hmm. So it's technically West Texas. Everyone says West Texas is like a crazy place still. They say it's like Wild Wild West out there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even consider that coming from California, and growing up in LA, and all that. I'd consider it more of like an inland empire type of thing, like a high desert or just a small community. There isn't too much difference to something in Southern California in the high desert.
Hmm.
If you've ever been to Riverside, San Bernardino, it's pretty much the same thing. Old retirement homes, like I said, you got the local population that stays here, but their younger generation ends up leaving, so it leaves just an older generation plus the new generation of military kids, which is convenient to the businesses around us.
Dope. So how did you make your way into tattooing, man? You're pretty young. You'd mentioned you're 32 or 33 when we spoke earlier. We've known each other for 8 years. I gave the audience a little bit of background on us, but why don't you tell them how you found tattooing, how old you were, and basically your road to get where you're at is opening your own shop and kind of taking over a town, so to speak.
Um, well, I originally got into tattooing when I was about maybe 18, 19. Um, I was living in the wild side of the world. Um, had a little bit of a background in what people would call the streets or stupid shit like that, and not to be stereotypical. And how those economies were pushed, and one hand another, motherfuckers that go to jail and come out and they meet you and they end up teaching how to tattoo. That's how I got my first tattoo, from a dude straight out of prison. Um, that kind of got my interest into it, and I was like, wow, you don't have to work, but you're still working, and this is fun. I like to draw. But I was a little bit more attached to making more fast money, and I had the chance out of all that to have extra money, and I met a Japanese tattooer in LA, tossed him some cash, and we clicked on some personality basis, I guess. And after a while of hollering at him, he gave me the apprenticeship. Tattooed in LA with him for 7 years, 8 years, something like that, privately, and got to learn how to manage clients in that way, which was a big, big jump off for me compared to everybody else. Everybody else is at the door in a local walk-in type of shop waiting for the food to come in.
Mm.
I knew how to brand myself aside from that and create a style that's going to continuously grow and give you clients and keep you ahead of everybody. And after that, I started tattooing a little bit more privately with a buddy of mine in LA. After I was with him, I went to down the street and acquired another tattoo shop. I was there. I mean, I thought it'd be an awesome opportunity, especially because I was making money as a self-employed dude in California in my mid-20s, and I could handle the rent and the bills. The problem with California was the profit. There was no kind of real pocket to create a profit. It's kind of finicky there. You have more of an economy built on transplants and people that don't give into local economy. They just want to be a part of the hoods, or you see it all around the town. The gentrification that happens in towns. You got a fucked up area. You got hipsters moving in. They want to be a part of it, and they bring up the prices and shit like that happens. So unfortunately, millennials are based on a save money, non high end and low end is the thing. It's actually a trend,
Yeah.
So it created a different market for tattooing at the time when I started a shop, walk-in style, me basing myself, appointment only.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to, get people in there. Even having people in there, I ended up finding out really quick that having a tattoo shop was not profitable as far as working for myself privately somewhere. And I ended up selling that shop. Came out here to Texas because I saw how small the economy was, and I knew there was a base. I knew there was a competition. These people don't have, I guess, a well-rounded foundation of what they're doing. It's just what they think they're doing, which I had a little bit of jump off on them. And actually, I wanted to just come here and start maybe like a small restaurant or something on the low end, kind of retire from tattooing in general. But I ended up just not fitting in at the other tattoo shop I was at. They had their own egos and identities, and I don't really have one. I don't really care about that. So I had to part ways. I ended up in another tattoo shop, and after a while, I was like, fuck this place. I found a little location, came to it, found a low price. I could manage myself. I was already busy from being in town. Started a shop, and in a matter of 3 years, cut everybody's income by half or more.
And then slowly started putting places out of business, as we already touched on.
Yeah.
So explain to me kind of was it eye-opening for you going from, kind of teaching yourself how to grind and hustle and being in the streets and doing what you got to do to being in Jiro's shop, who's the Japanese tattoo artist who took you in, and seeing like, oh shoot, there's a way to, create buzz, market yourself while still being underground, because his shop literally was underground. It wasn't easy to find. It was an intimidating place to walk into. Was it eye-opening for you to see like, damn, I can do this. I can take my style of what I've learned and taught myself and actually apply it to real business, brick and mortar, own a bit and own a location and do this and that? Did it kind of click like that for you or no?
Yeah, most definitely. Being young and making a good amount of money at a young age, make more money than your parents or your friends around you by just staying on top of your thing. And yeah, it's sort of a marketing aspect of everything where you're pretty much you are the main magician to the show. So I can control the economy. I can control what I'm doing as far as tattooing wise, styles and everything. And at the same time, it lets me organize myself, see how I'm not vulnerable as long as I specify myself in a style and something that's going to be sought after versus me being just a random, hey, come in, I'll do it, whatever you want type of dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it worked out well. I think everything's referenced to experience in life, and it's all been accumulated. And now what is from the streets to, you deal with people of all types of life.
Right. And you can see the adaptability in your art, because you've got, if you follow your social media, you can see you've got clients you've had for, close to over a decade that have full body suits by you. And then how to hit out, 10 little fist-sized bangers in a day and just rack up that cash too. So You can definitely see that you've picked up on both sides of it. Even though you said you prefer the style of, big pieces, lining up long-term clients, it's impressive you've been able to do both and been successful at both.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, let me say that now. It's kind of tricky because when I came here, my clientele here isn't a 10-year clientele. It's not a local clientele. It's more of a um, 6 month shot. I got to get them in and out and make sure that in the 6 months I can brand myself, attach the business and everything, and have it produce more clientele coming in versus, I mean, y'all know, I mean,
Mm.
if you wanted to get tattooed, you could book an appointment and I'd be there. We're both in the city. It's, I have to I get to spend my time with you. We can say I'll see you in 3 months, 2 months, whatever it be. Here, it's a continuous, fast paced thing. The thing with tattooing, man, I mean, you're not over a style or a size of a tattoo. If you're a tattooer, you better do everything that fucking walks in the door.
Especially
No,
today.
yeah, no, that's oversaturated. No one guarantees anything for you. If you have the ability to skill and you're not gonna mess that tattoo up, if you're a real tattooer, you can do the tattoo no matter what. Ego is something you put aside. Ego is the main thing that'll hold back anybody from producing anything in life.
Hmm. And you can see, I mean, obviously, tattoo artists are artists first. They create, and I think that gives you a sense of entitlement and a little bit of a nose up sort of opinion when you're like, oh, I only do X style, I only do Y style. What you're saying about approaching it as work. Yes, I tattoo. I'm a tattoo artist. I enjoy this. I'm also a person, but if you walk into my shop, I provide a service. I'm going to do what you ask me to do, and I'm going to do it better than anybody else. That's that's kind of what I'm picking up from it, and I think that's
Yeah,
very commendable.
yeah, and you treat everybody like human, like a human being. It's the same thing. Plumbers, lawyers, everything. Money is a beautiful thing. I mean, diversity, ambition, and where your career is at is great, and I applaud everyone for their achievements. But when you come here, you enter the realm of a flat plateau. We are all human. You're gonna get what you want. I don't care what it is. I'm here to. I'm in the service industry, and I acknowledge that. I don't have a
Right.
tattooed. The ego again. I mean, you can have people on it, and it works. It's total. Like I said, it's like a magic show. One person's going to believe that this person only does this, and that's great, and that's one way to hold the market in a bigger city.
Hmm.
When you compare that to a smaller city, being more fluid and more open to characters and people is always going to get you more of a business attraction from everybody. It's not going to be you're that cool douchey asshole that I'm going to pay money to because he's so chic. It's more or less, hey, this guy's human and he does awesome work.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. And Middle America is completely different from LA. Everybody knows I grew up in LA. I'm from LA, and everybody knows that's from LA. That's not like a new booty, like a transplant. Will understand that hey, 90% is all ego and these fake images and masks. You know,
Yeah.
people playing who they're not. So they love seeing that back as a reflection of themselves in the artist that's serving them. It's almost like a mirror effect. Middle America, well, they fucking, they obviously hate it. So you pretty much have to subdue yourself and become again just a human being and a normal blue collar worker.
Which is, I mean, is humbling and important, and it's
Yeah,
a
man.
beautiful
It's
thing,
like,
like you said.
yeah, you have to be fluid, man. And and that goes in anything of business, anything knowing your society, surroundings, your country. Everything is adaptable to what you're building up as a person. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. It's the accumulation of experiences of different sides and aspects of what is reality, what is life, what is economy. Ambition is a beautiful thing. You put that back with some good intelligence, and you put that with a good spirit, and you'll make something out of nothing.
Definitely. So, before you got into tattooing, were you an artist, or did you kind of discover that you were an artist when you linked up with Jiro?
No, I mean, I was a regular dude. I skateboarded a lot and I hung out, and I was into drawing as a kid. But I grew up poor as shit, so I couldn't have an art set with paintbrushes and shit. It was just something I looked at and I was like, whoa, I'd love to do that. But hey, I live in the hood.
Right, but graffiti
I'm
though,
not,
right? Were you into
yeah,
graffiti?
yeah, yeah. So that's my whole point. So like, I couldn't take a fine art aspect because it's just I come from I'm first generation American. My parents are immigrants.
Yeah.
They're citizens of the U.S. now and stuff. But when they came here, they didn't have shit. So I didn't expect shit because I knew, hey man, we live in apartments.
Right.
So yeah, there was neighbor. The influences I had there was my cartoons and all the good stuff. But there was a lot of gangbanging happening and a lot of gangsters in the neighborhood that had tattoos. So I thought it was cool. I mean, I used to draw myself as a kid and go to elementary school and be like, yo, check out my tats. Not knowing I would ever do this for a living. I just thought that was cool because it was something in my neighborhood. So as far as art, that's what I did. And I grew up, I ended up moving out of LA, out to the Inland Empire. But I always spent most of my time back in LA somewhere or another. And I got into graffiti. And graffiti was a cool thing because at the time, it was all ego, which is something I needed to experience in life, a full overdose of ego, in order to subdue it. And I knew I had links in Southern California and LA and San Diego and the Inland Empire. That meant I could totally take over that whole area or try to as much as I could with my graffiti, which was strategic. That's the same way you go and put that towards, hey, there's this many businesses around me. I'm going to adapt to all that stuff.
Right. And
And
when a graffiti artist does it well and you're an observant, just normal person, like it's crazy because I see the same stuff from Venice to LA to like San Bernardino and I'm like, how is this motherfucker getting around like this? And I'm not into graffiti. I just open my eyes and look.
yeah, it's a form of marketing, dude. So like, and it's all driven by ego. Just like that's the number one thing. It's the most fucking machista type of way, like it's you want to just get up, so you're gonna save up your money. You're gonna either steal paint, steal things to return for paint. I'm not into the stealing thing, so we found ways to make money. We need to steal because we were making money, but we could buy our paint,
Right.
and at the same time, hey, go get a bunch of it, go paint all night, hit. And one night, man, I'm starting off in Riverside, ending up in Long Beach, then going to downtown LA. Then I'm gonna go back to Long Beach, and then I'm gonna go back to Riverside. It was just a
Right.
big trip all around, like
And it's risky shit too. I mean, it sounds fun. You're just rolling around with your dudes. Like, obviously, there's like camaraderie there. I'm
yeah, man.
explaining it in the
It's
cheesiest way, but you're doing
no,
risky shit. You're hanging off, freeway signs. You're looking at areas that you think a lot of people will see, and you're saying, "I'm gonna get up right there, and I'm gonna make it fucking dope."
yeah, man. I mean, there's so many different angles. I mean, you're gonna get chased. You don't
Right.
want to get chased, but you're gonna get chased by the people, cops. Something's gonna happen eventually if you ride enough on the streets. You're gonna end up having to run away from people shooting at you if you're in the wrong neighborhood. People trying to jack you. I mean, we found dead bodies on the side of the river before. It's
Yeesh.
just it was an adventure to get into the city and see the asshole, the shitty, the slime,
Mm.
the unwanted. Get up in there, go paint, get our adrenaline rush. One, that was a high right there in its own, and then the next day, the ego rush from driving by and taking pictures and being like, "Yep, that's my shit."
That's right. And everybody
Uh,
else seeing it too and saying, "Oh, that's his shit."
yeah. But see, the fucked up thing about graffiti, and it's something you grow out of. I think if you're an adult, I mean, if you make a living and off of it and a career, that's more power to you. But realistically, myself, it's not. You're going to deter yourself by ending up in jail so much,
Right.
and half the people you meet are going to be fucked up, scandalous motherfuckers that are addicted to stealing, and racking is their game. So they're just your homies are kicking it with you, but they love to steal, and they're plotting, they're scheming. It's just kind of that environment where
Right.
where it's just where yeah, you just have to adapt to everybody around you. You end up like I said, it's just an experience. You phase yourself out of there. You grow up. I was into it. I loved it. It was great getting fame, but no one knows who you are because the last thing you want to do is put your face out there.
Exactly.
So it's like this pointless fucking thing. It just becomes an ego driven, and then when people do know you, then it's you're fighting motherfuckers left and right,
Right.
and it's constant drama. And then hey, it's 2017, and then 2004, 3, 2, 5, 6. I mean, it's just, and even the 90s, it's just been guns. Like
Yeah.
motherfuckers gonna fight you, but at the same time, you have to adapt to your surroundings, and if you have to get shot at or shoot somebody.
Everything always escalates and yeah, always
Yeah,
quickly.
and so that's why I say it's not even worth it. I mean, at the end of the day,
Right.
it was fun. I loved it experiencing this this short memory called a life that I'm gonna get to live. But I wouldn't want to sit inside the illegal aspect of it forever because my homies that are doing that are they ain't really doing shit. You know,
Right.
they're literally still paying like they were 15 and 14, racking,
Yep.
smoking dope. Like it lost its glamour to me. So that's where tattooing came into play, and it was just like, man, I'm permanently marking these people
That's right. I was gonna
forever.
I was gonna
They're an
ask about
extension
that.
of. Go ahead.
I mean, I was gonna touch on that because tattooing is not a small thing. I mean, um, I'm saying it's stupid. You realize you have it for life, but there's a lot of consideration that goes into it. I mean, I thought a lot about it before I did it, so that is very important. It's an important thing in society. You are marking people. You're giving people an opportunity to express themselves, and they're choosing you to do it in your style, and that's very, very powerful. At least it
Yeah, and
seems, you know.
it's crazy because it's a given. You know, tattoos are a given. You come to me, you give me the power and the control over you as a human being and subdue yourself. Not only is it therapeutical at one point, you lay down your ego. You know, most of the times I'm a cheap therapist. I hear so much goddamn shit that it's like that's where I've learned most of my um, background on how to even approach a business because I tattooed people that were wealthy that could afford me, which wasn't the average person, and would end up becoming what it would just give me an opportunity to go deal with these people, jump in to their business, their experience, how they built it up, live
Hmm.
vicariously through them, take that out, man, and then guess what? I just learned everything you've experienced in a lifetime in 6 months of tattooing you, and we're friends now. And yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's either be well read or be well lived in this experience in life to be good at what you're doing. So having that much contact with people and let them know that you're interested in them, giving you the opportunity to live their life like that is awesome.
I mean, that's right. That's a beautiful thing. Did did ever in a million years did you think you would be managing people? Because if you follow you on social media, you can see you basically have fucking 7 Rugrats you're running charge of right now. Did you ever think you're gonna be boss man Frank?
No, man, I have no. I don't even think. I don't think it's that way, man. Because I'm not a boss. It's technically, I'm just a normal dude. You know, I'm just
Right.
working with you, and I have a certain etiquette that I'm running. I don't want to be your enemy, and this is an approach. You know, it's not like a corporate approach where hey, I'm an asshole or we got HR. Tattoo shops get messy. You know, like dudes are fighting in the shops. Shit happens.
Right.
So I more or less put a buffer in between me and anything that's going to be happening with my coworkers. I would instead of me handling money and doing all this, that's what a shop manager gets to do everything. You know, you take the money, you give it up. He breaks it down. He knows the amounts, and us as artists, we're just here servicing. It has a better type of atmosphere for people. You know, again, not everybody is you, and everybody runs on their own protocol, their own ego. Which at the end of the day, everybody will bump heads. You know.
Right.
So yeah, it works. And all that shit was picked up from learning tattooing with privately with the Japanese guy that was within LA.
Learning how to
Learning with him
manage.
was yeah, of course. It was just like, oh, this is why we need a shop help, and this is why it's easier for this person to set the appointments and do all this. All we need to do as artists is have the consultation, and as far as that, do the tattoo. Because I mean, it's kind of nice, especially with the type of relationship between you and your clients as well where you don't have to pay me. I'm just tattooing you, talking to you, and you deal with the money with the shop help. He knows how much you owe me, and hey, it was nice seeing you. Here's a handshake. Versus if a person comes in, gets a service from you, and tells you all their stuff, you kind of grow a friendship, and then they got to pay you. It kind of money always sours relationships.
It does.
So,
No matter.
so yeah.
So, real quick, I saw that I think it was two of your. I think they're like interns or shop help or something. You had these two dudes tattoo each other.
Yeah, man, I have to have some form of like therapy for myself, which is like everybody has some humor in the shop. Everybody wants to have fun. It's a serious job when it comes to what we're doing, but the rest of it is just hey man, let's have a good time. So I had these motherfuckers do a tattoo off. They want to tattoo each other, and we're about it. So we let them tattoo each other, and they sucked.
I was gonna give him like a little bit of credit and say they weren't that bad, but deep down I knew if someone put that
I
on
mean, they're
me,
not. It's their first time tattooing, dude. They're not here to become tattooers. They're a shop helps. It's just in between them. They're friends already outside of being in here, so it's kind of humorous for them to give each other shit and say, I'm gonna give you a better tattoo, motherfucker, and end up
right?
just fucking each other up.
Well, it looked fucking hilarious. I mean, the energy looks really awesome coming out of the shop. I love watching the videos, and you guys are laughing, punching each other with boxing gloves, tattooing each other. It looks like a fucking blast. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, man. Like I said, if you sit in the shop too long and you don't have a human experience with anybody, like fucking around and enjoying yourself, you're totally gonna end up blowing up, and it's gonna be sour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have that, man. Good atmosphere equals good business.
Heard that. So, what's the next move for you? You've got two shops, pretty busy. Are you gonna continue with the tattooing? I know you've expressed interest both here and with me privately about exploring other aspects in other industries. What are you kind of thinking?
Shit, man. I want to take over the world.
Same thing. Same thing you do every day, Pinky.
Yeah, man. That's it. I'm plotting, scheming.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a nerd, dude. Just like being a tattooer, I'm a human being, and I love filling my brain up with
Mm.
everything from philosophy to business to politics. It's all relative to my reality. So, yeah, I want to adapt my mind into some other types of businesses. Kind of start a few more businesses that are going to supply my income. This way, I can do things freely for myself and enjoy myself, experience life. One and two, open myself. I don't know. I mean, open myself up to new genres, new things, new business. There's money everywhere. I look at everything as relative, so it's
Yeah.
macro and micro. That's everything is the same thing, man. If you know your industry, there's something that's about it that's sort of like mine. It might not be exactly the same, but we can get those aspects and create off of it, man. If I can get into more businesses. If I can start restaurants, yeah, I definitely want to get into that.
Right. Cool. So it's not just tattooing. You got the taste of business, and you said, okay, I can remake this model here, and I can do it in any market pretty much, and feel I can be successful. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the talks we've had from the countless hours you've tattooed me. I mean, it's more me asking you questions at this point. Obviously, you know what I mean. Just really gathering a ton
Yeah,
of info from you, which is why I wanted to have you on the show because I think there's a big misconception about tattooing, and I think a lot of tattooers have made it like that, like a bad businessman, like
yeah,
cheesy because of the
yeah. It's
fucking
fucking
TV
stupid.
shows and
TV,
shit.
man. Yeah, you already know. Fucking clowns all day on TV.
Clowns all day, and it's kind of fucked up. That's why I wanted to
If
have
you
you
want to be
on.
a part of a show, anything, any kind of fucking show, that's the problem.
Mm,
People learn the right things out of experience in life, or well-rounded people that run businesses. If you want to learn how to run a business, you work for a businessman, and he'll give you a internship and a real one where he's actually telling you how picking up on what you're doing.
hmm
You're gonna learn, dude. So yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I'm a nerd. I'm a
Yeah,
nerd. I love it. I don't give a fuck. Like I look rough on the edges, and most people are gonna judge me for my outside, but anybody that knows me really knows me, and I mean anybody that does business loves fucking hanging out with me because I love hanging out with them. Everybody is gonna vibe off of each other. Ambition is something that's ambition's intelligence does not discriminate on outside appearance or personality. Like I'm not a part of an ego. Fortunately, I am a tattooer, and I have tattoos all over my body. It might not be satisfying to everybody's eye, but it's definitely something that doesn't need to be judged upon anymore in this day and age because I'm probably smarter than most of these motherfuckers out
right. Well,
there.
I kind of dealt with it too in a way, and it made it easy for me because um, if you're that type of person that's gonna look at what I have on my skin and have it mean more to you than it does to me for you to be mad at me, then I was gonna find that out anyway, and I really don't even want to fuck with you anyway. So what you did was you just weeded yourself out before I had to weed you out. So thank you.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. And even if any aspect, man, I've dealt with her. Hey, man, well, that's that's a little too many. Oh, I understand, and that's fine. But I'm the new generation, and it's never stopped in the history of man or society. society's a beautiful thing that flourishes, and it needs to be adapted to.
Hmm.
The majority of the population now has tattoos.
That's right.
You're not going to avoid it. It's not going to go backwards. I mean, look at time. When have we gone back and lived the same way that we did in 1675 or 1432? That doesn't happen. From the compression of time from the early 1900s to now, we've only adapted what is going to be able to survive, and human self has always survived. Tattooing's as old as anything, you know? It's just we had old money, old perspectives, and we're just fucked up.
Right.
But it's cool. It's great because at the end of the day, I'm like you say, you're either going to be intelligent as an older, experienced person in business and adapt yourself with the younger people to grow and learn from them as well, so you still have a cutting edge. And that's something that me at 30 now, I'm old now, bro. Like we met when I was in my 20s, and then I was in the shit happening and not too far from 18. I'm 30 now, so
Right.
I have kids. I volunteer at the school and paint murals. I'm a different dude now. So I have younger people that are going to the university around me that are my clients that I actually try to bring in. Those are my shop helps. My shop help is a professor working at the school doing his master's program. Another one's doing a master's program, and it's good to have them because they keep me in tune to what's happening. Do I really care about the trends that young people are bringing out in music and the shit that's this for a moment? No, but there's a lot of innovation and perspective that I don't understand that I'd love to know just to have reference on. Reference is key. You don't have to do everything that everyone's doing, but just having a reference on it makes you more relevant to what's happening around you.
Right. And it gives you a better perspective on things that you actually do care about. Just knowing that, something exists or other points of view are out there gives you a different point of view on things that you actually care about as well.
Yeah. For sure.
Excuse me. Cool, man. So I guess on a personal question here, do you have any plans to be out in California over the summer? Anything yet?
Yeah, give me 1 sec. Let me get this guy's phone on my work.
No problem.
Okay. No, yeah. Yeah, hopefully I get to go out there. Unfortunately, the only thing about moving to Texas, bro, is that LA is now far. And I'm not a single guy, so it's not like I'm just going to jump on a plane and be like, yo, I'm gone, and leave my family. I don't have a family to leave behind. I have a wife, and we're all California-based. We're all Angelinos. So going back to Cali means my wife's visiting in-laws. I'm visiting my family. We have no family in this town. I have no family in Texas whatsoever. So when I go there, it makes it harder for me to come back to in the summers and hang out.
Yeah. Well, that just means I gotta, like we've been talking about, get my ass out to the asshole of Texas, as you said, and get my back finished up.
You're fucking right. Hopefully I'll be there, man. Maybe a wintertime, late summer, when the kids hit vacation, then it's actual time to talk about it. Right now, I'm just kind of like, I'm so stuck with the new business that I'm stoked on that. I feel unfortunate for my clients out there, but you'll see me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have it for life. I'm sure you'll be able to color it in anytime. Why don't you go ahead and throw out, obviously, your address, your URL for your website if you have it, or your Instagram handle for your shop for anybody in the Midwest that wants to get tattooed? Because honestly, 10-hour drive, 12-hour drive, night in a hotel, whatever you got to do, you really only get tattooed once. I would highly advise doing your research, and if you're in the Midwest and Frank's your guy, make that trip. If you're in Texas, you're lucky. But Frank, why don't you go ahead and tell them where they can find you, whether it's online, brick and mortar, or whatever.
Yeah, man. I mean, my Instagram is Frank_222, and that's pretty much all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
You can come visit me. You can find my information. You got my shop name, my shop number on there. You get to look at the work. Yeah, come on, talk, especially if you like doing business.
Yeah, so Instagram's the number one spot to find him. He said Frank_222. We'll obviously put that in the show notes. From there, you can find the address of both of his shops. You can see his daily work. You can obviously see all of his workers and all of their stuff tagged. So that's a great hub for you to have, and I think everybody's going to be able to find the things they need right there on your Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time in between clients to talk to me and drop a little bit of knowledge, man. I'm Looking forward to talking to you a little bit more. Actually, a lot more, and I want to get tattooed soon.
Word out, dude. Just get a hold of me. You know what's up.
Cool. All right, brother.
You. Appreciate everything, man. You have a nice day.
All right, Frank. Take it easy.
All right. Later, man.
Later.
Bye-bye.